What is up, everyone? Adam here from The Freight. Hope everyone's doing great. Happy March, which is crazy. I wanted to do another pickup and spins video of what I've been listening to, and also in this video, I'm going to do a little comparison that I recently did of a purchase of Stone Temple Pilots' Tiny Music. And I want to go through what I listened to, what I compared, and what my thoughts were. So yeah, I want to get into that a little bit. And there's lots of interesting stuff, hopefully, in this video that you'll find. And let's get into it. Okay, first and foremost, I picked up the Vinylphile Jellyfish Spilt Milk. This is just a great power pop record. If you're into this kind of thing, then, look no further. This is like sort of peak power pop, especially for this era in the sort of early 90s when not many people were doing this kind of thing. It was really grunge was starting and kind of a classic rock revival was starting. So this was really welcome reissue in my mind. I know it was reissued a couple of years ago, maybe for Record Store Day or something, but I didn't pick that up. I heard that the sound on it wasn't great. The sound on this one is great. This is Joe Nino Herne's master. He's been doing the Vinylphiles. I have, I think, 3 or 4 of the Vinylphile series, and they're amazing. Really, I have zero complaints about any of the Vinylphiles that I have. Unbelievable packaging. You get, it's like that whole Rhino Hi-Fi thing where you get, the master tapes, beautiful interview with the artist, Roger Manning. He's the primary songwriter and musician on these. And just a great reissue. This record is so fun. It's just a fun listen. This is just good music that's fun to listen to. Power pop, if you don't know Jellyfish, it's like, I would describe them as like Queen meets the Beatles meets Harry Nilsson meets Stone Temple Pilots. Like that kind of, there's some awesome guitar in there too. Really enjoyable record. I just really am psyched to have a great copy of that. I know originals are very pricey. This one, I don't know, 40 or 50 bucks, and it's really great. If you're into it, I can definitely recommend it. Buddy of mine, Arnaldo, whose channel is Fidelio's Frequency. I'll remember to link that in the bio. He did a fantastic kind of in-depth look at it. If you want a more sort of real deep dive into this particular release, I'll link his channel for you to check out. All right, moving right along. I have a bunch of just this kind of soul jazz things that I love to listen to that have been on the turntable recently. This one, Benson and Farrell. So George Benson and Joe Farrell. Of course, George Benson, legend of legendary guitar players. Joe Farrell, flautist, and plays some sax on this record too. This record's a vibe. I have to be in the mood for jazz flute, and this is one, when the mood strikes, this is a good go-to record because you have George Benson on here just absolutely ripping, like on fire. This is from 1976, so this is a peak time for Benson. He was about to blow up with some of his things that he was doing. This is on CTI. You can see the CTI label there. CTI, just one of my favorite labels. I love pretty much everything I have picked up from CTI. I love. George Benson is an artist and a guitar player who I deeply love, and I think is just one of the GOATs. There's nobody better. I know he got softer into the 80s, but it doesn't take away anything for me for George Benson. He's so important as a guitar player, and his skill and his mastery to play like only he can play is love George Benson. So really cool record here, and one that if you're into that kind of thing, worth checking out. Definitely a good vibe on that record. This next one I just picked up recently at a great price at my local. Of course, Shaft, Isaac Hayes, the soundtrack. This is kind of the start and probably the most popular of those kind of blaxploitation films, that whole genre that people call that kind of thing. This is Shaft is probably I would arguably one of the most famous from that time period. And great music, great sounding pressing. This was really not an expensive record at all. So to pick up a double, an original pressing of this, double LP, gatefold. Really awesome stuff. Sounds really good too. Stoked to have that. I didn't have a copy, so I was more than happy to pick up a copy of that. That was great. Next, Donald Byrd and 125th Street, New York City. This is from that sort of mid to late 70s period for Donald Byrd. And look at that cover. How cool is that cover? Isn't that just badass? Hopefully I'm not too close. I'm sorry if I am. That cover is just so awesome. I'm going to take it out so you can see the back cover too. This record is that classic mid to late 70s Donald Byrd. If you know Donald Byrd in this time, he was one of the leaders in the soul jazz world of just laying that funky groove down, but still linking it to the jazz of the past, moving it forward with killer improvisations. Just an amazing, amazing artist. He's one of my favorites, Donald Byrd, especially in the 70s. How badass of a picture is that too? Donald Byrd, his trumpet over that kind of deep, funky groove that's going on. It's awesome. The way he floats on it, you can tell he's just a master. And hearing his trumpet over that deep groove, that deep funk is real nice. All right, this next one. This was a completely blind buy. They had it at my local. It was a reasonable price. It was definitely under $20. I wasn't familiar with the artist. I think I've heard his name before, either on recording sessions or just whatever, but I never invested any time listening to him exclusively. For no particular reason. I just hadn't gotten around to it. And this was in the local, and I picked it up. Monk Montgomery, Bass Odyssey. It's on the Chisa label. And this is exactly what this title says it is. It's a bass odyssey. It's a bass journey. This is bass on lead. This is bass lines taking the lead of songs in really cool ways. Joe Sample is the keyboard player on this, and he's playing a lot of Rhodes and beautiful Rhodesy 70s vibey things. I love Joe Sample, and hearing Joe Sample do his thing melodically, improvisationally over these awesome bass lines and bass line leads is a really cool combination. This was a great record, very enjoyable, especially if you're into bass. When I say bass, I don't mean like deep thumping bass. I mean like if you're a bass player and you want to hear someone take some lead bass lines, check out this record. Really great. Very, very cool and pretty unique. Has plenty of groove on it, plenty of funk. It's like funky and rockin' too. There's some tracks that are more rockin' as well. A lot of good mix on this record. Very, very unique and good listen. Next, in honor of the DSS Lionel Richie one step for his big hit record. I came across this when I was flipping through my records, and I'm like, I'm going to put this on. And honestly, I forgot how good it sounded. This is All Night Long. It's just a promo 12-inch single. Am I holding that up the right way? So you can see, it's got the Motown promotional thing. These 12-inch singles from the 80s sound dynamite, right? I started collecting them a little bit, and I'm really loving how they sound. I'm really, really finding myself enjoying them. I'm going to do a standalone video, I think, on just my 12-inch singles because I've accumulated a good amount of them over the last couple of years, and I'm really enjoying them, and I think it's worth talking about. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, and this one particular sounds really, really good. It's a really good sounding record. All right, so moving right along. Let's actually, before we go any further, I'm gonna talk about this one box set that I've been listening to. I'm also going to do a standalone video on this because I think this absolutely deserves it, especially if you're a Beatles fan and you know or you don't know about this. You need to know about this. This is from Liverpool, the Beatles box, right? This has, I want to say 9 discs. I take the records out because I don't want to ruin the box. This box is in such good shape. But I'll show you if I can open it. It does flip like a clamshell, but I'm trying to find which way it flips. There it is. So, opens like this. This has 8 discs, 8 discs, all mastered by Harry T. Moss. This was a mail-away a mail-away box that you could get in 1980 from World Record Company. And the only way you could get it was in Europe, and I think Australia did them, and a variety of countries, Japan also. And there are some amazing, unique mixes on this compilation. Now, the other thing that's awesome is if you are familiar with the deep kind of Beatles stuff, here's something that's a little more deep. But Harry T. Moss cut this, right? Harry T. Moss is the legendary cutting engineer that cut the records from the beginning up until I believe the White Album, and then it was cut. I forget the guy's name who cut the last couple. But anyway, Harry T. Moss is regarded as one of the best people to ever cut records, especially Beatles records. And he did some of those 2-box EMI. I'll show you what I mean. I have a copy here. I did put it here. Where did I put it? Here it is. I brought out one that I had just listened to the other day. So this is the 2 EMI box. You see these are, if you see these are British reissues from the 70s. You often see this label in the BC13 box, which is the stereo box. This is who was also cut by Harry T. Moss. This is a freaking-tastic Beatles box, and it's not that expensive. For 8 discs, you can get it for under $150, $140, something like that. I'm going to do a standalone video on it because it deserves it, but so much great material on these 8 discs, and it sounds really great. You get unique mixes. There's mono and stereo songs on it, but you get some really unique mixes of a lot of these, and the way it sounds cut by Harry Moss is really great. I think it's the best Beatles box going, especially for the value, because Beatles boxes are going up and up and up. This is one that I cannot recommend enough. I'm going to do a standalone video on it, but there you have that. Okay, next. This is a fantastic, probably my favorite compilation record that I own. It's from Dual Tone Records, right? This is a great label with some really hip musicians, right? This one's called Discovered and Covered, okay? So this is all dual tone artists who did cover songs. Like, for example, you have The Dip doing Beautiful Stranger. You have, so many. I'm trying to think of the highlights for me. Flip Turn does Everybody Wants to Rule the World, just an awesome version of that. Shovels and Rope does In My Room. That is great. Look at these other ones. Shaky Graves does Missing You, a fantastic version of that. Just some really awesome, unique songs on this. There you can see the list and the artists there. This is, and it's on this. I have one. I think there's a few different presses. I think there's a standard black pressing of this. This is like, I don't know, one of the unique pressings, splatter vinyls they did. This is such a great compilation. Songs that I really enjoy, done really uniquely by a lot of these amazing artists on this dual tone record label. And it's something that, it's my favorite compilation as far as like cover songs and doing, lots of different artists, mixed artist compilation. I really love this. So good. Listen to that the other day. Really awesome. All right. To close this episode out, I am going to talk about Stone Temple Pilots, Tiny Music, and I'm going to go into a little bit of something I did recently. I purchased this, right? This is you can get it on Rhino. You can still buy it. I bought it on sale. Oops, I just dropped the hype sticker. Pick that up so you can see it. I'll actually show you the hype sticker. This is the anniversary edition. You can still get it on Rhino. Okay. This is the anniversary edition of Stone Temple Pilots Tiny Music. It comes with 3 CDs, 1 LP. There's some live stuff in here, some live shows and some extra outtakes and things like that on the CDs, which is great. Awesome stuff on there. There's also, obviously, the record, which is, super heavyweight. 1 LP, 33 RPM. And then there's a really cool booklet in here that gives background and interviews. This is a great package, right? And I think it's like $70. I think I got it on sale for like 65 or something like that. But this is a really good package. It comes with a booklet like I'm showing here. Also another little kind of thing to check out. Now, I bought this because I had heard that, you know, it sounded good and I wanted to check it out and I wanted to compare it to the Mobile Fidelity one. I have a standalone video on my channel of the Mobile Fidelity double 45 RPM pressing of this that came out last year. I have my own video on it. I did not have this at the time. I just got this a couple weeks ago. And have had this, the reissue version, the anniversary version. That's 1LP 33 RPM. And I bought it with the hopes of like maybe I'll like this more, and you know, I can sell off the Mobile Fidelity one and keep the 33, and it's got 3 CDs. And you know what I found was I listened to one, listened to the other, and on my system with my ears and whatever I have going on with my system and me listening, the Mobile Fidelity one blew it away. Like it wasn't even close. So I had high hopes because I'd heard good things, and it wasn't bad, right? It was this 33 RPM. It wasn't bad, and I think it's a really good value. Like if you don't want the double 45, I definitely think this is the way to go. This is not a bad, in my opinion, a bad release at all, and I think it has some good things going on. The 3 CDs with all that extra stuff, the live shows, that's incredible. The packaging is beautiful. You got that, you know, sort of foil. You get the book with it. This is a great release. So like there's no shade on this. However, musically, just talking about the records, this was better in my opinion. It was better in every way. There's just a little bit more of a veil on this 33, you know, by my ears, by my listening. Not everybody might agree with me. That's fine. You know, I direct listen to the whole album, lots of different ways, song by song, then side by side, then record by record. There was no comparison in my estimation. It was the Mobile Fidelity did blow it away, and I really am doing everything I can to be completely honest, especially with Mobile Fidelity, because I think, especially in the past, maybe not so much recently, but like in the past, in the mid 2010s, I do think there are some Mobile Fidelity recordings that are pretty lifeless, and where the originals beat them and other pressings beat them. I have no doubt that an original pressing of this would probably blow away both of these, no question. I don't have an original. I just have, I'm comparing these two, and of course, you know, whatever CD or digital versions I have. So comparing the two, the Mobile Fidelity reissue 45 absolutely blew it away. Now, would that beat an original? I have no idea. Probably not, according to a lot of people. And you know, you can watch my standalone video on the Mobile Fidelity 45 RPM cut. So I'll probably be selling this one. I'll probably put the CDs, download them into my iTunes, and then I'll probably move on from this one. Again, it's not bad at all. It just, to me, as far as the record listening experience, it wasn't as good. I think there's a lot of value to be had here. It's still a good sounding record. It just wasn't as good as there was a level of clarity and impact and soundstage that just was not there on my system at all with the 33. But it was, I think it just, because this was done, you know, pretty well, this just kind of in comparison fell short. But if I had listened to this first and did not have the 45, I think I would be totally fine with this. Again, you get the packaging, you get the book, you get the 3 CDs. There's a lot of value here. So there's no shade on it. It's just my opinion that I like the sound of this better. And that'll about do it. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys all are doing well out there. We're almost through winter up here in the north, which I'm psyched about. Cannot wait for spring. And I will see you guys in the next one. I got some cool video ideas coming up that I'm going to pop out soon. And we'll see you again very soon. All right. Peace.